people are spending more time at home than ever before. And one of the frustrations of home ownership and the increase of home renovation projects is the appearance of mold. While the presence of mold in the indoor environment can be concerning, it is no cause for panic. A certified technician can assess and evaluate your situation.
Mold gives off spores. We can't see them, but they spread throughout the environment looking for the right conditions in order to start new colonies. And long before we get there as remediation professionals, those spores have spread throughout the home. So if we just address the visible mold colony and don't address those airborne particulates, we've only done part of the job.
One of the keys to determine mold is if there was a saturation event. If you have a moisture problem, you're going to have a mold problem. So a dry home is a safe home. If there was no water loss there and it is due to a dew point issue or condensation on those walls, that mold will not penetrate through that wall cavity. Oftentimes I will get a phone call from customers. Many times they will say, I see some black mold here. The media has really hyped up the color of the mold being black and toxic, and that's not true. We use an international standard with regards to particulate matter in order to identify whether or not we have acceptable levels of particulates in the indoor building environment. But if you see mold and you smell mold, you have a mold problem, and so that needs to be addressed. Some of the ways that we address mold, if you do have some visual staining on those walls, is we have a stain remover. It takes care of the aesthetics of what you're seeing on that wall cavity or on that floor or on the wood members in an attic. But then we come behind that with what you don't see, the invisible. We address it with a biodegradable fogging agent that is designed to scrub the air clean and get rid of those particulates as well as the other obnoxious odors and mold spores. Some mycotoxins are known as carcinogens. They do adversely affect the health of individuals, so it's an important aspect that we have to truly grasp and understand moving forward. This is something that's highly regulated in the food industry, so it's something else that needs to be regulated when it comes to what we're breathing in our air.
Mold is all around us. In fact, it's part of nature, and it isn't always an emergency. There should be a multi-pronged common-sense approach to mold detection and treatment to ensure the most economical and rapid treatment methods are undertaken by a certified professional.
Not every job is the same out there. We have a lot of tools in our toolbox to figure out what's going on, but we have to be willing to use our brain. That's our best tool that we have. So we can look at what's the source of the contamination. Once we have that information, then we can discuss a path forward on how to remediate this with the best amount of success. One of the most common misconceptions is that if we see mold, that means, man, we got to start tearing all the building materials out. And that's not necessarily the case. That's where, again, investigation comes into play. Was this perhaps a leak inside of a wall cavity or maybe some type of overhead water loss? Well, in that case, yeah, we might well have mold inside that cavity. We use different tools to make that determination. We may have to remove a portion of that building material in order to get at the source of the mold. Or it might be a situation where we just have excessive humidity in the air, more of a surface mold issue. In that case, we may not have to remove those building materials. Once we get to the source of the mold, then with an effective system, we can just do a micro cleaning, a fogging to get rid of the airborne particulates, and then we're going to be left with a clean and safe home.
When it comes to detecting, evaluating, and treating mold, industry partners who share high standards are instrumental in achieving successful outcomes for home and business owners alike.
In 2020, when people were doing school from home, work from home, and they didn't have anywhere to go, people were having health conditions from spending too much time in a home if it had mold issues. So the Goldmore system really became even more valuable because they couldn't be out of their home for 3 to 5 days to do other systems.
The Goldmore system is the best system out there for a lot of reasons. First off, the best products you can find on the market, hands down. Secondly, is the cost effectiveness of the product. It works so well, you don't have to use as much as others, as well as saving labor for reducing the amount of mechanical removal, overall demolition, and finally, having access to online training and continuing education that works for your team, and it also has IIC-RC accreditation behind it. So It helps the entire company as well as your clients.
Our mission is to provide innovative products, solutions, and education to the mold remediation industry and indoor air quality industry as well. This is important so that our service providers can provide cost-effective, safer, and less invasive mold remediation technologies for their customers.
To learn more, visit us online at www.goldmoreusa.com.